Hello friends, today we are going to discuss about the topic waste and its type. As we know that now in India the movement related to which is organized by the Narendra Modi, that Swachh Bharat Abhiyan is taking in our India. So we should know about the waste and its types and how we dispose the waste material. So we will first discuss that what do you mean by the waste. So the waste is nothing but it is the things which are useless for us, they are no needed for us and they may be thrown away. So all those materials which are which do not have any use for us, that materials are called as the waste material. And these waste material, for example, if you are eating banana and the peel of the banana is then kept into the dustbin, so that particular part is the waste part at that time. If you are eating chocolate, so the wrapper of that chocolate is the part of waste material at that time. So the waste is mainly the discarded part, the useless part of the anything thing that is called as the waste material. Now the waste can be present into three forms, as solid forms, liquid form as well as gaseous form. Whenever we talk about waste which is present into solid form, so all the waste materials related to plastic waste, glass waste, vegetable waste, so all are the fruit waste, so all are the example of the waste which are present in the solid form, so they are called as the solid waste. Second type is called as the liquid waste. So soapy water is the example of liquid waste, and we can say the sewage water, sewage is the example of liquid waste, as well as whenever third form is gaseous. So all the harmful gases which are released by the industries and vehicles, so they pollute the environment, they are the type or part of the waste. So all these are some three forms which are related to waste: solid waste, liquid waste and gaseous waste. Mainly air pollutants are the example of gaseous waste. Now the waste, how waste is generated and from where waste is generated. So waste is mainly generated from many areas, so according to that we can differentiate it in many types. For example, if the waste is generated from the homes and houses, that waste is called as the domestic waste. So first type is called as the domestic waste. Second type is the waste when it is generated from the industries and factories, that is called as the industrial waste. Third type is if the waste is generated, the waste of grains as well as the waste of pesticides and fertilizers, which is mainly generated in the agricultural land, that waste is called as the agricultural waste. The waste which is generated on the roads and bridges, that is called as the municipal waste. Then the waste which is generate and produce in the hospital, that is called as the hospital waste. For example, the waste, we can say expiry date tablets and the bed syringe, so all these are the example of hospital waste. And beside this there are some waste which is generated from the institutes and large organizations, they are the example of commercial waste. Beside this there is a type of waste that is called as e-waste, that is called as e-waste, electronic waste. So all the waste material which is related to computer and television and radio, which are present at our home and shops, they are useless now. That type of waste is called as the e-waste. So these are the sometimes types which are, we can say that waste can be generated from many areas. Now the types of the waste. So according to degradation of the waste can be divided into two types. First type is called as the biodegradable waste and second type is called as the non-biodegradable waste. So biodegradable waste those waste which can be degraded by using some microorganism, and it can be converted into its simpler form that is useful for the environment. That type of waste is called as the biodegradable waste. So degrade is mainly related to we can say decay. So it can be easily decay into the degrade into the some simpler organisms, simpler compounds by some organisms called bacteria and fungi. So for example of biodegradable wastes, example of the peels of the vegetables and fruits, the cow dung and animal dung, so excreta of animals. So all these are the examples of the biodegradable waste material. Now whenever we talk about second type, non-biodegradable waste. So non-biodegradable waste means that waste that cannot be degraded by using microorganism, they remains as it is. That type of waste is called as the non-biodegradable waste. For example, plastic cannot be, if we burn the plastic, it can pollute the environment, it can produce some harmful gases. So these cannot be degraded by using microorganisms. So plastic and glass are the example of non-biodegradable waste. So these are some types of the waste according to their degradation process. And now the separation of biodegradable and non-biodegradable waste, now we use two types of dustbin for it. For example, if you are seeing a blue kind of dustbin in roadside, it means it is mainly for non-biodegradable waste. So all the non-biodegradable waste, for example wrapper of the chips and plastics, so all these can be thrown into the blue type of dustbin. If you see the green type of dustbin, that is for biodegradable waste. So all the peels of the vegetables and fruits should be thrown inside the biodegradable waste dustbin, which is the color of that particular dustbin is related to green color. So we should use such type of methods to separation of such kind of biodegradable and non-biodegradable waste material. Now some strategies are also used for the prevention from the waste materials and to reduce the waste material. So that process is called as the 3R process. So by this method we can reduce the generation of solid waste, and this method is called as the 3R method. 3R method, in which we can say how we prevent the generation of the waste. So 3R, first R is related to reduce, second R is related to reuse, and third R is related to recycle. So these 3R methods should be used to reduce the waste which is generated in the society. So reduce, we should not generate more and more waste. By doing this method we can reduce the waste. Second, reuse, if we use again and again the things, the waste will be generated less, and this method is useful for the reduction of the waste method. And now third method is now generally used by some industries, recycling method. The recycling method, now recycling of paper is done, recycling of glass is done. So by using this, the waste can be minimized, the volume of the waste can be minimized in the society. So these are the 3R method for reducing the waste. Now there are some methods to disposal of the waste material. For example, if because as we know that the waste which is generated on the society and land, it can pollute the land, it can cause the air pollution as well as water pollution. So it can reduce the aesthetic value of the environment. So for this we should do some disposal methods to minimize the waste from the to clean the environment. So what are the disposal methods? There are some disposal methods. I'm giving you name. In next class we will discuss them briefly. For example, first method is landfilling method, open dumping method is used, incineration method is used, composting method, vermicomposting method, sometimes dumping into sea is also used. So by using all these methods we can properly dispose the waste material. Thank you. In next class we will discuss it briefly.